The moments I stopped waiting to be chosen. She stepped into the shower that evening, the water hitting her skin like tiny, stinging reminders of everything she'd been holding in. It wasn't a breakdown. It wasn't even sadness in the traditional sense. It was just weight. The weight of missing him, the weight of loving him, the weight of everything they'd almost built and everything they had lost. She leaned her forehead against the cool tiles, letting the water run down her back, as if somehow that could wash away the ache that lodged so deeply in her chest. She thought about how much she had learned since they had parted, and how much she had grown. How she had built a life on the ashes of everything that they had been. And still, nights like this crept up, and the weight still found her. She closed her eyes and let the memories pass through her. The nights they'd laughed, the quiet moments where he traced on her shoulder with his fingertips, the feeling of having him next to her, solid, real, and warm. She let herself ache for him. She let herself remember, and for once, she didn't try and fight it. She didn't pretend like she was stronger than she was, and she didn't berate herself for still loving him. She simply stood there and allowed herself to feel every ounce of what was still alive inside of her. As the water finally cooled and the room filled with steam and the soft drip of the tap, she opened her eyes again. The ache hadn't disappeared, but it had softened. It was no longer demanding to be controlled. It simply just lived alongside her. Another part of the tapestry of whom she was becoming. She turned the water off, wrapped herself in a towel, and whispered into the foggy mirror, "Thank you for the love. Thank you for the pain. Thank you for letting me survive it." Later that afternoon, she laced up her sneakers and went for a walk, determined to ground herself back into this world and into her own body. The emotions from the morning still clung to her ribs, and she no longer saw them as enemies. They were simply visitors passing through. She reminded herself that everything she felt was bigger, because March, it was such a powerful month. She'd been told there were 7 planets aligning, eclipses looming, the cosmos themselves were in upheaval. Of course she felt everything more. It wasn't failure, it was an expression. As she walked, she touched gratitude like a familiar stone in her pocket. Gratitude for having known such deep love. Gratitude for having survived each shattering loss. Gratitude of the girl that she used to be and the woman she was becoming. She thought about her life, her relationship, how everything about her birth chart pointed to her needing soul connections, not surface level loves. No wonder he had mattered so much. No wonder their love had been so strong that it burnt. Whether he was her twin flame, a soul contract, or simply the one who cracked her open, he had been the one to awaken her to herself. And that really was all that mattered. It would always matter. As she crossed a quiet park, the wind tugged at her hair and she smiled. She was proud of how far she had come. She wasn't done, not even close, but she was living parts of her life that she had once thought was impossible after losing him. She was still here, and she was still alive, and she was still miraculously blooming, even if no one was watching her.